Hi, I'm Derek Reed. I had a type A aortic dissection October 17th of 2022. I have a 9-year-old girl and a 4-year-old girl. I'm married. I'm kind of going to talk about kind of my life a little before it, like a lot before it, because I think maybe it had some contributing factors to why things happen like this. I worked in the oil field for about 16 years. Lots of long nights, lots of hard work, lots of early mornings, and I also partied pretty hard whenever I was younger. In the oil field, you tend to do that. I did drink and I smoked cigarettes for several years, moderately, but I'm just trying to kind of narrow down, what possibly could have caused this to happen, because I really don't have any actual answers why. They can't tell me why. So on October, so leading up to before I had this aortic dissection, I had recently, I quit the oil field in 2020, but that doesn't mean that, I didn't stop working. I started a couple companies, and high stress level, starting and running your own business is very stressful. And, so I had very stressful work. I always worked really hard. I partied hard, I worked hard, and I just did everything hard and never stopped. So I was running these companies for a couple of years, which is a 24-hour job if anybody does that or knows about that. And I decided to pick up flying. So I started taking flight lessons, and I wanted to be a private pilot. And I actually got about 5 hours away from my real check ride to be a private pilot. It was going to be a huge accomplishment for me. And leading up to the events, I had just did my first cross-country solo flight to Twin Falls, and that's a big deal whenever you get to that point in aviation. It was quite an accomplishment. So I decided I got home and I just wanted to celebrate. So I took my family to San Diego for a week. This is about a week before the surgery. So I spent some time in San Diego, but on the way there, my wife and we both got a cold. And I was coughing, and she was coughing too. So I don't think it was COVID. This is during like the end of COVID. I'm from Idaho, by the way, which Southeast Idaho was one of the last places to even get like COVID cases in the world. So, we went there. We were both coughing and sick, but we worked through vacation. We still had a good time. We drove with my 2 little girls to San Diego, and then we drove back. But right before I left, and I wanted to kind of emphasize this, I was remodeling a storage area in this house I'm living in now. There was a really heavy table inside this room, and I'm used to lifting. I work in the oil field. I'm used to lifting and breaking things, and that just, that's what I do. But I was remodeling the room, and this desk inside there was attached to the floor, and it's probably a 300-pound desk. I had to tip it over on its side so I could deconstruct it and cut it up. And so I squatted down kind of low onto the ground, and when I went to push up, I pushed up like this, like I was squatting. I pushed up as hard as I could, and then right here I felt this intense pressure. And this is before my vacation. This is right before I left for vacation. I felt that intense pressure right here, but it went away, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, man, did I exert myself too much right there? But then it just stopped. So I went about my business. I went on vacation. I was bringing that up because I'm trying to identify why this happened. Because I was very healthy. I felt healthy, felt strong. So went on vacation, and so we got back, and I hauled some dirt for my dad back here in the back of the property. I bucketed like a ton of dirt with buckets of dirt and filled this area up in the back, and started to continue to remodel the bedroom back here. I was cutting 2x4s, and I had a ram shot, and I was nailing the boards into the cinder block so I could hang drywall eventually. And on October 17th at around 9:30 in the morning, I got up. I slept really good the night before. I didn't have any pain or any issues the night before. I got up, I had a cup of coffee, and I think I had a Diet Coke. I didn't really do that very often, drink a whole lot of caffeine, but and I put the board up on top of above the window. It was just a small board. It was about that long. I took my ram shot, and I ram shot it in. I had my hands over my head like this, and that's when I felt that intense pain right here, and that was around 9:30 in the morning. And sorry, my phone's going off. It really hurt, and it felt like something was radiating to my back, like tense. I'm not going to say tearing. I think it's more like a sharp tearing. I don't know, like an intense radiating pain, just stuck all the way through to my back. So I walked over and I fell down on the floor. My dad happened to be in the room with me, helping me remodel this area. And I said, I don't know, something's wrong. And then it kind of starts to go blurry right here. But I do remember some points up to here, up through this point. I stood up, and we were going to go to the urgent care. And I'm like, no. And my dad said no or something. We said we need to go to the emergency room. So we went to the emergency room. But yes, so I was rolling around on the ground, and I was holding my chest, got up. He took me to Port Enough Hospital in Pocatello, Idaho. It's where I live at. We went in, and we thought I just hurt my back, because the chest up here really wasn't hurting so bad, but my back was killing me, like I broke it or something. And I was in the ER, and I remember having my dad punch me in the back, because I was like, just punch me in the back, let's pop my back in or something, So then it really starts going blurry from this point. I remember being in the bed, and I remember Dr. De La Rosa coming in and telling me that I needed to have open heart surgery. I don't remember having a CAT scan. I don't remember much else actually, I remember him coming in saying, you need heart surgery. And he I think he might have drawn something, but I don't even remember who's in the room with me at the time. So then I remember they carted me out, and I do remember telling my wife that, see you later. I called my little girls. I remember calling them. I told Allie, because they told me that, there was a good chance that I wouldn't survive. It was emergency surgery, and they couldn't find the anesthesiologist. they were going to flight me out to, I think, Salt Lake, but through, I guess I would say, it's not luck. I'd say, you know, but my wife had friends that worked at the hospital, a pharmacist, and the girl that was in the surgery was my wife's friend, but she was a surgical tech, and she had the anesthesiologist's number, and knew the guy, and she was able to get a hold of him to get him to come from Idaho Falls to complete the team, or else they were going to have to fly me out. But yeah, that was great, and she also, you know, was right there for me right up till I went dark in the surgery room. But so anyway, so I remember as they were carting me out of the room, I told my wife that whenever they put me on bypass, that I was going to come wave to her and say hi. So I remember going into they wheeled me into the ER, to the surgery room, and I told them to stop. I wanted to tell them something, and I remember saying, like, I will buy you guys a steak dinner if you get me through this. And I'm not going to do that till 1 year. I'm at 10 months right now, and I will buy them a steak dinner if I am alive in 1 year, which I think I'm going to be. I know I'm going to be. I hope. So, you know, watching these videos, I didn't really have much information. I found these videos, and I've watched a lot of them already, and they've been great to watch. So that information is great. So so anyway, went to I remember going dark. I remember going to sleep, but and then the surgery happened, you know, and I remember waking up with a breathing tube in my throat, and I was trying to take it out, and then they sedated me again, but I don't really remember anything for 5 days. So 5 days was dark. Like I guess I was walking around and stuff. They pulled me out of bed, but I couldn't tell you. I know I was combative. I know I was really mad. You know, I was screaming, and like I know, and through the surgery, when I woke up, even after the 5th day, my left hand was like this, and my dexterity still isn't great. You know, it's not the same as it used to be. And as well as my right shoulder is completely numb. I don't know. So those are just things that from after the surgery, you know, I've heard the term, I just heard the term, watching, I think, some of these videos of pump head or something like that. You're on bypass period of time. I had memory loss. I think whenever they got me to where I was coherent after about 5 days or so, I think the first thing I remember was there's a doctor named Ashley McNamara. She's great. She's PA, but she asked me what day it was, and I said Wednesday. She says, no, it's Sunday. So I was like, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh yeah, 4 or 5 days. I thought it was still Wednesday or whatever. Back over here. So I had a really hard time. I couldn't remember friends' last names. I couldn't remember, people I knew for years. I had loss and lapse of memory. I still do, a little bit from time to time. I just kind of get foggy, you know. So I was in the hospital I was in ICU for 5 days, and then was in the hospital for 5 days. So I was in the, doing my, I remember one experience was when this was getting infected, this cut, and they had to like put me back on and like cut it back open, and I was like watching them do this, and it was like oh my gosh, but it was definitely a rough time there at the hospital. But I'm glad I got out of that all right. So anyway, I was in the hospital for 10 days total, and I left, I think on like October 31st, October 31st, and I went home, and I had home health for probably a month. I mean, I had to work on getting my mobility back in my hand, and I don't know. It's not all the way back, but I don't know about this. I had to, so they had home health there at my house for about a month, and then so when I started to where I could walk, I started walking in the hospital, up flights of stairs and stuff like they teach you, but here at the house, I really didn't start really feeling like I could walk around really great until maybe 3 months. And then about 3 months, I started cardiovascular physical therapy in January. And I spent 3 months in there, just kind of where I could get up to walking and, exercise bike and things like that. And then in January 17th, I decided that I was going to do some drywall with some workers that I had here because I wanted to finish my bedroom. And that was about 3 months after. And I didn't really lift anything like that. I decided to mud the walls in the bedroom. It was a mistake because when I got done, it was about 4 o'clock. I way overdid it. And I took my blood pressure because, I probably obsessed over it for too long. But it was too high. It was like in the 160s. And I couldn't get it to come down. It was 165. Then I got a little higher. So I went to the ER, and they actually gave me higher dosage of blood pressure meds and stuff. And I actually got sent home, which I'm glad. I was pretty worried about that day. I thought I was going to fight it again. And I also figured out at that point that the physical labor days and hard work or like that, I just got to stop doing that. No more of that anymore. So I just got to change the way I do things. So now it is been 10 months, and I've been doing pretty good. I have definitely got on some anxiety medication for sure. I do have a few sleepless nights, you could say. I still have that same, I guess it's PTSD that a doctor, a PA told me I have a little bit ago, which I kind of never thought it was a real thing, but I'm pretty sure it is now. It's, everyone goes through it, I think, that has these types of surgeries that you feel like your heart's going to stop, and you feel like, maybe today's your last day, or maybe you feel chest pain and maybe you're going to fall over and that's it right there. But that's why I'm just so thankful to be alive every day. Be able to spend this time with my family, my little girl, be there for them. But definitely the PTSD thing, I think I'm starting to kind of understand that a little more, and just that my life's different, and that things like that are going to be the new normal, and that I need to be aware of it, and I need to, and that's why I'm seeking out, I'm trying to start seeking out support groups and things. And, not everybody around me can really understand everything. But, but anyway, so I'm hoping as the future goes forward, of course, like this is what everybody hopes, is that, you have that. You hear people that have had an aortic dissection and they're alive for 12 years and they're alive for 15 years. And that's what I want to be at too. So I'm definitely gonna, I stopped working out like I was supposed to be, and I was doing really good, and I stopped. I don't know why. I just, it's summertime. I like to enjoy, what I'm doing, but I'm gonna start working out again, and eating a little healthier, stuff like that. But right now, today, I'm feeling a lot better than I did. But still only 10 months, and I still get really tired. I still get brain. I still have a little bit of memory stuff. My left hand's still not as dexterous as it once was. My right shoulder is 1 second. Hey,
Yes.
you do that?
The insurance asking.
Okay. Well,
Okay, go ahead.
So, sorry, we got an insurance guy coming. But as far as advice goes for anybody that has went through this or is going through this, I would say, it's not easy for sure, and just expect that, there's a long recovery, and it's 10 months. I know I have a lot further to go. And mentally is going to be, I'm barely figuring out now that mentally it's just important as the physical side. Processing what happened, because your life changes after this for sure, especially for, I don't know, really for me, because I was such a physical person. But all in all, the experience as a total was really hard, but they say that things happen for a reason. And so maybe I needed a reset and needed to really appreciate things more. So, but that's my story. So I'm gonna have to cut it a little shorter than I wanted to, because I've got somebody coming to the house, but that's it.